The place where I'm driving now also used to be a playground. It makes me want to take a walk, but that's not the case. The place here is a playground called Rio Dreamland, which opened in 1961. Modeled after Disneyland, they called themselves the Japanese version of it. However, due to low quality, Walt Disney himself cut ties with them. Because it's an amusement park? At first glance, it appears related to Tokyo Disneyland, but it apparently caused significant issues for them. Hearing about this makes me uneasy. It feels like an amusement park. However, as an amusement park representing the prefecture, it thrived for more than 40 years and was loved by the local people. This time I will cover the past, present and future of such a wonderful dreamland. Even at Umatsu's place, the exploration team will continue to create videos that everyone can enjoy, so please be sure to subscribe to the channel. So I went to Rio Prefecture and Rio City. The site of Rio Dreamland is located a bit outside the city center, so I'm heading there now. The location is in the northern part of Rio City, and it used to be land that was originally intended to be the base for a self-defense force airfield. Although it's a bit outside the city center, it's actually located in the heart of Rio, just about a 10-minute walk from the famous Rio Park, which is known for its deer, or from Rio Station. In a straight line, it's only about 2 kilometers away, so it's really not that far. If you leave the city center and walk through an ordinary residential area, you'll arrive at the site of the Rio Dreamland. It's hard to imagine that there used to be an amusement park in this overgrown, grassy place. September 2014. There are almost no traces of the amusement park left now, but surprisingly, the demolition only finished in 2019, so it was left as it was after closing until quite recently. So, I'll tell you about this place from when the amusement park was built to when it closed. Matsuo Yuzo, the representative of a company called Nihon Dream Kanko, was so impressed when he visited Disneyland in America in 1958 that from then on, Matsuo Kunizo was a singer and dancer, but he also had a side as a businessman and an entertainment promoter. He was active in various genres in post-war Japan. He was a person who held the nickname of the Black Sun in the world of Japanese traditional arts and among the imperial family. As for that nickname, I honestly have no idea what it means, but it certainly stands out. It's fine as long as the stories are passed down by people who were alive at the time. What's important is that he was a person who held significant influence and power in Japan, even if not always directly. He met with Walt Disney and tried to bring Disneyland to Japan. Taku-san accepted the promising proposal. Disney promptly responded, seeing a significant opportunity. It was 1958, 13 years after Japan lost the war. There were other things too, and Japan was in a slump. People said it was impossible to make Disneyland. That's what they say. Did Matsuo So really accept it positively as a result of his own efforts, or was he forced to accept it? That's something I still wonder about. To show his seriousness, a month later he brought a technician with him and visited Disney again. It seems he was eager to quickly get a grasp of the Disneyland. After that, they quickly secured good land. The construction of Dreamland began almost immediately. Matsuo Nobuo was driven by intense passion. Walt Disney visited Disneyland for free and during the construction learned about Disneyland. They cooperated by sending technicians from their side. And so in 1961 the Yomiuri Land modeled after Disneyland opened. To Disneyland. It's not just about being motivated and opening an amusement park 3 years later, it's about the speed and determination to act. Before the park opened, the newspaper ad said it was an American amusement park famous around the world. They used Disneyland as a model and added Japanese elements, making it the Japanese version of Disneyland. It seems that the phrase "a large-scale amusement park like never before" was mentioned, but that's not in the original text, it's just how I remember the article. The land of the future, the land of fantasy, the land of adventure, and the land of the past. An area was created next to Disneyland, which was mainly for adults. At the time, attractions like authentic railroads and monorail submarines were considered cutting edge, but even among them, the monorail especially drew attention as the centerpiece for railroad fans. Personally, I would like to try riding the submarine attraction. I can picture it. There was a castle in the center, modeled after the castle from Sleeping Beauty, standing tall and proud. It's just like Disney. In September 2014, I hadn't been to Disneyland yet, so I don't really have any personal connection to it. However, Disney's free provision of know-how and the dispatch of technical experts was not for the purpose of building a Disneyland in Japan, but rather to help the Japanese create their own unique amusement park. That's why it's different from Disney, and it's also different from a Disney park. In other words, the amusement park was created without a license. Since they created an amusement park that looked just like Disney, the Nara Dreamland side wanted to use the Disneyland name and negotiated with the Disney side, but Disney firmly refused. Only the amusement parks that were designed and supervised by Disney itself could use the Disneyland name. So, unlike the current Nara Dreamland, which was built only with technical cooperation and know-how provided by Disney, it could not be called Disneyland. That was not possible. Of course, I created my own original character because I couldn't use existing ones like Mickey. This comment is not particularly relevant. I based the character on Sleeping Beauty. Oh. Isn't the quality a bit too low? Maybe I should make it more like a toy. In terms of both cost and technology, this was the best in Japan at the time. It was impossible to truly recreate Disneyland. Later I saw photos of the real Dreamland. Walt Disney was furious at the low quality and the fact that they were copying Disney. That's right. As for the Disney side, they said it was an imitation of Disney. They didn't give any permission for the amusement park's construction, and it was just a copy. The unauthorized low-quality production used the name of Tokyo Disneyland without permission. But in reality, it wasn't like that at all. In fact, the Japanese Dreamland side and Disney and the French side couldn't agree on the contract fee, so negotiations broke down. I'll leave it at that for now. Is this comment true or not? Only God knows, but that's how the story has been passed down. It's called Disneyland. It doesn't really meet the conditions at all. I don't think Disney would grant a license to an amusement park with such low quality, so that's probably not the case. This case has become a major obstacle to the reputation of Tokyo Disneyland. At first, it seems they were turned away at the gate, but thanks to strong negotiations, they managed to get permission to open the park. That's pretty impressive. Among all the Disneylands in the world, only Japan's has both Disney and license. The park is operated under a contract and Disney has no capital involvement at all. It's said that this unique contract is also part of what makes Tokyo Disneyland so special. I think it was really good that it succeeded. The colorful and cute amusement park has always been crowded since its opening. It has become an amusement park representing Ryokan. Even though the quality was lower compared to Disney in America, it was still quite advanced among Japanese amusement parks. It was likely due to the attractions. In the later 1970s, about 15 to 16 million people visited Piku each year. It became an amusement park and however, the costs became too high. I'm not sure if it was because the business was slow or because the amusement park management didn't go well, but it was never really renewed. As a result, the only major renovations were the addition of a new pool, a wooden structure, and a new jet coaster. In the meantime, the management company was merged into Kyushu Dainichi, but in 1983 it returned to its original owner. Tokyo Disneyland, the Disneyland in Japan, is an example of a dreamland where the attractions are not constantly updated and time seems to catch up with it no matter where you go. Even though it became a wave park, it could be said that Dreamland no longer had any value as a place, and it was gone. After that, in 2001, the number of visitors to Osaka's Dreamland continued to decline, and in 2006 it was closed down. In the final days, about half of the shops and restaurants on the main street were closed. It was clear that business was tough, as they were handing out free admission tickets to attract visitors. The management of the 2005 Expo was already struggling a year before it closed. It was transferred to the Ryono Real Estate Company. I have doubts about whether this Ryono Real Estate Company really intends to run the business properly, because they closed the park in just 1 year. The story changes a bit, but among my followers there was someone who used to work as a cast member at Rio Dreamland. When I uploaded a video about Rio Dreamland, they warmly shared their memories with me. It seems there were some problems with the amusement park site, but the fact that it was an amusement park loved by the local people never changed. It was an amusement park that was cherished. I hope that people's memories would not be erased. To Chinami, the park was abandoned for a long time after closing. A right angle bend. In 2015 it was demolished. It was sold to a real estate company in Osaka. Even though the relocation of the amusement park was considered, it was ultimately due to the fixed asset tax delinquency on the leased land. There were various issues such as price differences, pressure, and the purchase not going through. About a decade after 2016 in the Heisei era, the demolition of playground equipment and buildings began. The main reason why the playground equipment and buildings couldn't be demolished and nothing could be built was because there were so many trespassers. It was due to the actions of these trespassers. Photos and videos of the site spread not only in Japan but also overseas, making its existence widely known for better or worse. Many signs and fences prohibiting entry were put up, but it seems they weren't very effective. If you look it up online, it seems like it would be considered trespassing. There are a lot of videos and blog articles about it, but it seemed dangerous. I think that using images or videos might be seen as condoning trespassing, so I haven't used them in this video. If you're interested, please look it up yourself. About 300,000 square meters, it's a place called Metoru Kusodeka. The use of the site remains as it was. The housing complex was abandoned in 2015, and for about 10 years since then, the buildings have just been left standing after being demolished. It seems that several workers were seen inside the Dreamland site, so it looks like some kind of work is being done, but that's just a rumor. So Dreamland. The site is designated as an urban redevelopment area and a scenic district. Therefore, preservation laws apply. Strict regulations have been put in place there. Unless a facility is recognized as having high public value, construction is prohibited. Highly profitable properties like mansions or commercial facilities. What's your plan for the property you purchased for a specific purpose if you can't build on it? A parking lot where you can park once every 2 weeks at your own pace, that's a reserved parking lot in a good Dreamland location. It seems like it's being used, but that's about it. It's not really being utilized. This is the main gate over here. There are barricades firmly set up at the entrance, so you absolutely can't get in. It might also be because the buildings have been demolished, so even if you got in, it probably wouldn't be much fun. It's been about 20 years since the Heisei era, but even now, a little of the famous name of Dreamland still remains. First of all, there's a sign next to this entrance. It might be hard to see in the video, but you can still make out the words Dreamland on it. There's a small path next to the entrance, and if you follow it, you can get a glimpse of the inside. It looks like the tunnel that was used during the Dreamland era is still there. The tunnel leads to what appears to be a former amusement park. There are also various other remains of concrete structures and such. There was nothing unusual at the entrance either, Noro-san. Actually, Lawson is still operating as a convenience store here, even after the park was closed without changing its name. Now, it's the only place where the name Dreamland still remains, so I hope they can keep running the business just like this. It's been 10 years since the nearby Ryokosu bus stop closed after the park shut down. All that's left is Dreamland. It used to have a different name, but it has changed. I used to take my kids to this amusement park before it closed, but I never made a video about it, so I wasn't sure if I had actually visited. I also knew that a lot of the original equipment had just been left there. I'm not sure why I went to see it, something about it just pulled me in. I didn't trespass or anything like that, I just looked at it from the outside, that's all. That's what I mean. That's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider subscribing to the channel or giving it a high rating. I'll see you again in the next video. Thank you very much for watching.